On June the 7th, the bodies of two sisters, Nicole Smallman, who was 27, and Biba Henry, 46, were discovered in a park in Wembley. Police believe the pair were killed by a stranger after celebrating Miss Henry's birthday on the 5th of June. Now, since then, there have been questions over the police's response to the case. The Independent Office of Police Conduct, the IOPC, is investigating if Metropolitan Police officers were slow in responding to concerns from the family when the two first went missing. And the head of the Metropolitan Police, Dame Cressida Dick, has said she's appalled at allegations that two of her officers took inappropriate photographs of the two murdered women. Dame Cressida said their alleged actions were disgusting.
I'm dumbfounded. I am appalled. Again, the IOPC are dealing. I don't know all the details. But if it is as it appears to be, then it is shocking. It's disgusting. And the whole of the Met would condemn what has happened here. And if those officers' actions have added to the family's unimaginable distress, then I apologise from the bottom of my heart.
Cressida Dick there. Well, the murdered women's mother, Mina Smallman, says the behaviour of the officers involved in the case shows that there is still institutionalised racism in the Metropolitan Police. Friends and family of the sisters were so concerned about the lack of response when they reported the women as missing that they travelled to London, to the area, to search for them. Mina Smallman has been talking to Martin Bashir.
Within 10 minutes of going to the spot where the girls were, they found Biba's glasses, and then a few yards away they found that, and it turned out it was the murder weapon. In 10 minutes of going to that spot.
What did you think about the police when you discovered that? What were your thoughts?
It just, you know that there are some very good police out there. But do you know what? I knew instantly why they didn't care. They didn't care because they looked at my daughter's address and thought they knew who she was.
What do you mean?
A black woman who lives on a council estate.
And they weren't available to help?
No. No, they'd made a decision. They knew who they were. They knew their lives. They knew, actually, they probably didn't work, unemployed, doing drugs, in a gang, because they must be, right? Because they're black. Mustn't they? Because I don't have another explanation. A 46-year-old professional woman and a 27-year-old professional, why would you not take it seriously? Some 36 hours later, your friends and family have to do this research that you're paid to do. And within 10 minutes of being at the scene of the crime, they found the murder weapon.
Just talk us through what happened this week then, because if that wasn't enough personal trauma compounded by the failings of the police, what happened this week when you got a call?
The lead person from the independent organisation said, I don't know how to tell you this, but we had an anonymous tip-off to say that police officers were taking selfies and posing for pictures with your dead daughters. Trying to... Up until that point, I hadn't had an image or anything. But the image I have and keep on having is of, you know, in the Deep South when they used to lynch people and you would see smiling faces around a hanging dead body, and also of game hunters of old holding elephant tusks or standing with their foot on the neck of an elephant or a tiger. Those police officers dehumanised our children. They were nothing to them. And what's worse, they sent them on to members of the public.
This is what the independent representative told you?
Yes. Yes. I said, can you see their faces? He said, I'd like to tell you that you can't, but unfortunately you can. This has taken our grief to another place, to another place. This, if ever we needed to understand that the institutional racism within the police force and other institutions, the Church of England, education, if ever we needed an example of how toxic it has become, those police officers felt so safe, so untouchable, that they felt they could take photographs of dead black girls and send them on. Now, don't say they're stupid, because actually I think that's an insult to people who might not be particularly bright. Don't equate them to, this is typical of kids and selfies. That's an insult to the youth. Don't talk to me about desensitisation. You know, our professionals do and see terrible things, but they don't do things like that. These police officers dehumanised our children, and it speaks volumes of the ethos that runs through the Metropolitan Police. And what do I want to come out of this? I want Black Lives Matter not to become a slogan every time something appalling happens and then we all retreat. I want it to make a change and a difference, like the Me Too, like the Time's Up. Positive action came out of that, and I want positive action to come out of this.
But it's nearly 30 years since Stephen Lawrence was murdered.
I know.
Since there was a public inquiry, since there was a disclosure that there was institutional racism within the Metropolitan Police. What has changed in almost 30 years?
Nothing. They've just got better at covering it up. They just... It is so entrenched in the whole ethos that they've normalised it. It's they say to me, it's changing. It's changing. The younger ones are coming up and it's changing. Yeah, but the balance of power is still like that. The job of the police is to keep the bad guys out, not to behave like the bad guys. You can't... Black people don't feel they can call the police and trust them to deal with their issues, because all kinds of assumptions are being made about who they are because of where they live or because of their circumstances. It's not good enough. It really isn't good enough.
Mina Smallman on the murder of her daughters and the police handling of it in particular, talking there to Martin Bashir. Mina Smallman, incidentally, former Archdeacon of Southend. Many will regard that as a shocking case, I think, 11 days after the killing of George Floyd in the United States.